Welcome back to Konatus Games, where I strive to survive. This is episode 5 of Signal Void. I'm in Bunker Gamma. I'm going to head over to Pleasant Valley, repair the next transmitter, and then find the last bunker in Lower Great Bear before heading back to the far territory and wrapping up Signal Void. It's a long journey from here to Pleasant Valley. I'll be traveling through Mountain Town, and then into Mystery Lake, past the dam, and then into Pleasant Valley. I'll accelerate the travel so that you can see the route I'm taking. I don't know if it will be optimal, but I'm basically going to make a beeline there. It should be pretty close to optimal. But it won't take that long so that we can get some real progress in this episode in a reasonable amount of time. Alright, let's get to it. So Hushed River Valley is a pretty great region, especially to start in. There are, to my knowledge, no man-made structures here other than that bunker. And there's another prepper's cache somewhere here too. But you can get a lot of good loot here, even on Interloper. You can get a bedroll, guaranteed. I think matches are guaranteed. You can get a hammer, Mackinaw, a hacksaw. If you spawn here, and you just look for the mysterious signal fire, which can be in one of two locations, but you'll be able to spot it during the day by smoke coming off of one of the mountains. But if you look for it, you can find some really great loot. You need to take the ice cave system to get to some of that stuff. But that's very pretty and very easy once you learn what goes where. It can be a difficult region to navigate if you don't know where you're going. I have plenty of food. I'm not going to stop for any of this. I'm just going to beeline through Mountain Town and into Mystery Lake. And I'll probably show you, once I get to Mystery Lake, the route I'm going to take there, since on this playthrough we haven't been there yet. You know, I don't really mind using Pilgrim for this, because really I want to get it done. And then on my Interloper file I can pick up right at Buried Echoes. I won't need to complete Signal Void, so if you complete Signal Void on any file... Wow, that's beautiful. If you complete Signal Void on any file on your account, you don't have to do it again for starting Buried Echoes. You of course can, from that point on all of your files, you can skip straight to Buried Echoes. And on Interloper, that's probably what I'll do. But, that being said, even though Pilgrim is making this very convenient for me, and it is nice to be able to do Pilgrim on days when I'm a little bit tired. It's much more casual. For example, today, I didn't sleep that well. I slept all right. Is that a 100% torch? Do I want that? That is coal. Not even close. So today, pretty tired. Didn't get a ton of sleep. As you can probably already tell, my thoughts are a little bit erratic today. When I'm tired, a few things happen. First, my neck and back hurt. I'm used to that. It's not a big deal. But if I don't get a lot of sleep, my neck and back will hurt. And my thoughts will be a little bit more erratic. So I don't think... I need to record today. I like to try to put out 2 videos a week. I'm going to try to keep that pace up. But I think playing Interloper today would be pretty dangerous. I don't think it's a great idea. But this, there's basically no risk here. I can just get things done and not have to worry about a thing. I don't usually care much about pain. Pretty much all it does is make... I mean in the game. Pretty much all it does is make the edges of your screen blurry, but since I'm recording this, I'd rather everything be nice and clear for you, the viewer. But that being said, it's nice to play Pilgrim when I'm tired, but I still want to record something. And if you like, a more exploration-based mode, if you just, look at this game, right? It's gorgeous. If you want to just look at something beautiful, right? And build a little base, collect some things. See some gorgeous environments, explore, find things you haven't seen before. Then Pilgrim might be perfect for you. But for me, if it wasn't for trying to get Signal Void done as fast as possible, I just really prefer the challenge of Interloper. And I'm starting to really like the challenge of misery as well, and like I said in another episode, I will start a misery run pretty soon. I want to wrap this up first, so that of my 2 videos a week, it can be Interloper and misery. And then, from there, that's gorgeous. I'm sorry, but I'm just going to look at this for a little while. Just standing here and appreciating some beauty, not something you can do on Interloper or Misery quite as easily. Oh, is my camera drifting a little bit? Did you see that? All right. Anyway. Once I finish Signal Void, I don't know if I'll come back to Pilgrim to finish the rest of the tales, or if I'll just continue Interloper and Misery for a little while, and then eventually get to Buried Echoes on the Interloper file. Because if I'm going to do it on Interloper, I don't need to do it separately on Pilgrim. So that might be the plan. I really do see the allure of playing on Pilgrim or Voyager, though, because you can really take your time and you can take in these sites. But I don't know. When I play a survival game, well, that's already to bias it, isn't it? Right? I'm already thinking of this game as a survival game. But it's also an exploration game. It's also a cozy game. But when I play this, I do like to play it as a survival game. And I like a challenge. That's just me. There's no wrong way to do this. But that's what I enjoy. It's one of the reasons why I don't look up loot tables, and I don't memorize maps. I mean, I've looked up some maps before, here and there, but by and large, I prefer to just explore. You know, I've learned most major locations in most maps, and that's good enough. And to learn more than that, for me at least, you know, I want to earn that. And honestly, I think there's... You learn the maps in this game, I'm not making a general claim, but I learn the maps way better by playing, by exploring, than I do by looking them up. I think there's more or less a broad consensus about that. On the subreddit, that's usually the advice, and I could see giving that advice for a few reasons. you might just want people to, you know, play and enjoy. You aren't going to encourage them, saying, hey, it's all right, you can learn the maps by playing. But also, I really do think it's true that you learn it better by playing than by looking it up. That being said, if you want to look it up, and, you know, if you want to look up a map, and, learn that way, it's fine. There's nothing wrong with that at all. There's no wrong way to do this. I'm going to need to climb some ropes. This computer I can use. Doesn't look like it, at least not yet. I'm going to need to climb some ropes, so I think... Aha! I think... Oh, could have sworn I had a flare gun. I'm going to drop some things and sleep here. I kind of want to do a run where I stay here. This is an interesting location. It has a one-hob stove. It has a bed, and that's about it. Not great, but it is usually a little bit warm. I'll be right back. All right. So let's do some inventory management. All right, that's pretty good. Once I hit half fatigue, I will be over encumbered again. So I'm just going to sleep this out. However long I need to get fully rested. Alright. Let's get going. That's so many ptarmigan! Look at how many ptarmigan that is! Wow, I don't want any of them, but that's incredible. I'm gonna run right through them. Yeah. Alright, that was that was more fun than it should have been, I think. Sometimes there's some loot over here. Just gonna check it out, see if there's anything neat. Orange soda, sure. Gun book, hatchet. I don't really need the hatchet for anything. I'll probably drop that somewhere. Okay, can I go down here, is the question. I don't need to embarrassingly die on Pilgrim, do I? I'll just climb down. So this route past the gas station, up into that little park area, recreation area, and then down here, this is the route from Mountain Town to Mystery Lake. It lets you out right behind Trapper's Cabin. There is a cave right around here, right around there, that is useful for getting warm during the journey. I think it's over there by that jutting out rock. And that can be useful if the weather's bad, if you don't have any teas, etc. You can also drop things there to cure. I've done that a few times when my base is near Trapper's Cabin, because sometimes I'll come and go. So I've left things in that cave before. It's right over there, I guess. Yeah, right there. And that rope right there in front of me, that's kind of cool looking. That rope right there is going to bring me up to the transition screen. Now, I highly recommend turning off auto walk when you go onto a bridge like this. It's very easy to accidentally fall right off. You'd much rather control every step than risk that. Alright, so now we're at the transition cave from Mountain Town to Mystery Lake. This is going to let us out right by Trappers, which is a great base. I think it's one of the most popular bases in the game, along with the camp office. Mystery Lake is just a really nice central location, and it has a lot of great bases. I'm going to duck into Trapper's cabin when I get there, just to drop some things off, but I'm not going to stay long. This cave is actually one of the big advantages of Trappers. I believe it does count as indoors, so it doesn't protect you against cabin fever, to my knowledge, but it has coal. And coal is also a renewable resource. Coal will spawn over time, or it'll respawn, rather. I'm sure there's plenty of coal right now that I'm just not seeing because I don't have a light out. But you can get plenty of coal here, and that can help you stay warm. And every, I want to say, it's something like 20 days, 30 days, coal will respawn. So there's Trappers, right there. There's a little barn over there, can have some miscellaneous loot. That's not a terrible place to sleep if you need to avoid cabin fever. There's some wind protection, you can start a fire. If you have a bare bedroll, could be feasible. I used to get lost a lot going on the journey I'm about to go on, from Trappers to the dam. There's a pretty easy and obvious way to do it, which is you basically head up to the train tracks that head to Forlorn Muskeg. That's a pretty straightforward path. And then you just follow those tracks all the way to the dam. I don't need any of this. I don't need that. Don't need it. Do I have a sewing kit? Probably, right? Yep. I'll take another. Don't have a rifle. Or a revolver, so I don't need that stuff. Don't need any of this. Nothing. Alright. I mean, there's tons of loot here. I say nothing as if I'm, like, disappointed. There's tons of loot, but I just don't need any of it. I want to just get this show on the road. Take those crackers, though. I don't need this. Is this better than what I have? No, but it doesn't really matter. Oh, coffee. That could be useful. I'll take that. And now, let me just drop some things. Alright, that's pretty good. Let's go. So anyway, I was saying that I often, back in the day, and it'll probably happen today. We'll see. But I get lost sometimes on this particular journey from Trappers to the dam. And there can be bear and wolves on this path. And it's pretty easy to get messed up. So, you know, I've been playing this game for a while, but I took a long break. And then came back to it. So I probably stopped playing it for a couple years, 2 or 3 years, something like that. And then I came back to it. That was several years ago that I came back to it. Probably 3 years ago, something like that. And when I first started getting back into it, I died in this region, this path between Trapper's Cabin and the dam, many times. For a while, if I took this route, I was basically guaranteed to die. And it's because it's not that easy to keep track of landmarks out here. I used to try to follow a wall, but that just leads you into the hills. It leads you into a lot of nothing, really. There's a lot of hills, a lot of trees, and it all looks very samey. So it's easy to get lost back here. What you want to do is you want to find your way to the unnamed pond, which should be right over here. Yep, here's the lake. There's a cave over there. There can be a bear in that cave. So I basically just stayed low. Oh, alright. Sure, just one. Not that heavy. Okay. Alright, well now oh, it's fine. If you go over here, there's a cabin. So that can be good to go to. That goes up to the towers, if you go that way. There are a couple of lookout towers. One is destroyed, and one is not. I think they switched them at some point. I could be totally wrong. Maybe it was just one aspect of me getting lost here. But I could have sworn they switched them. There's a little cabin here. This is a useful place. There can often be bear right at the unnamed pond, right over there. And there can often be moose right over here somewhere. There can also be moose at Trapper's Cabin. It's a special moose. The moose at Trapper's Cabin is what I think I've heard people call it a magic moose. Normally, moose only spawn where there are moose markings, for the most part. But by Trapper's Cabin, a moose can spawn there, even without markings. And even if there are other moose in the region. So there are a couple of special moose like that in the game. I don't remember where the other one... I think there's 2. I don't remember where the other one is. But there can be a normal moose in this area right here. Now there's no moose markings, so there would never be a moose here on this file. But if there's a moose here, that can be really convenient because you can just cure everything inside that little cabin, or you can drag it back to Trapper's pretty easily. There's birch over here, and there's also maple. Ah, okay. Is that my first proper weapon? Sure is. Great. It hurts me to not grab those maple. Normally that's so important, especially on Interloper, because you can't find any other weapons. You can't find a revolver or a rifle. You can find a distress pistol, and that actually is a heck of a weapon. But the flare shells are relatively uncommon. but you can reliably make a bow. So, if you go up there, you follow that path right between those fences, that will get you to a broken down tower. It doesn't look broken from here, but there's a broken down lookout up there. If you follow this path, then this will get you to some trailers, and then to the train tracks, and on the way to the dam. Up there can be some maple in various spots, I believe. Like I said, I haven't... Well, I didn't say I haven't done this in a while, although I haven't. But my map knowledge of this back area of the map isn't great. Actually, I'll show you where we are on the map. It's not going to help, actually. I don't think I've mapped anything else here. So most of the map is over here. Right? Trappers is here, camp office is over here somewhere, the dam is up here. So this is the, northwest quadrant. That's not actually how the directions work in this game, but from our perspective, if that map was a map that made sense, this would be the northwest quadrant. I don't know it super well, but it's pretty easy so long as you don't go up that path to the tower thinking there's going to be good shelter up there, because there's not. And so long as you don't get stuck in those mountains up there. So really the route is as simple as Trapper's Cabin to Unnamed Pond. You just leave Trapper's Cabin and go up a hill, over a hill or two. From Unnamed Pond to that little cabin we found with the maple and the birch. And then you just keep going that direction and you find the clear cut. And then you can follow this road. Oh, I'm very tired. I guess that's why I'm so encumbered. I mean, I have picked up a lot of things, so maybe I'll be encumbered if I'm fully rested too. But it's really slowing my move speed, so once I find those trailers, I'll actually sleep, just so that I can get where I'm going faster. Now, I would never do this on Interloper. Well, first because Go Juice, whatever it's called, doesn't exist on Interloper, but also because stims, which do a similar thing, they let you sprint even though you're exhausted. They're very valuable. They can heal you. They can really get you out of a pinch. But I don't care. I just want to get this done. So I'll use that. That's no problem. And I'll sleep in here. Take some tea. Alright. Nope, don't need them. I'll probably be heading out at night, but it's pretty easy to get where I'm going. Let me consume something heavy. Alright, we're gonna get a move on. Is it clear enough for me to do this? No. Okay. So I'm going to go this way, and this will get me to the train tracks, right near the dam. There's a road right here. You can barely see it, but this is a road. This is where I guess they brought trucks in. There was a sign for a truck. This is where they probably loaded logs to transport out of the clear cut. There's a sign that's intersecting with the road. Those are the power lines that go from the dam to camp office and then into Forlorn Muskeg. And here's the train tracks. Here's the bridge. And there's the dam right over there on the left. Heck of a journey we're taking today. We'll get there soon. So if I kept following these tracks, it would head over to the ravine, which is a transition to Coastal Highway, but also to the upper levels. You know, on Interloper I never find anything in this little structure, but I wonder if there's anything here now. I do, sometimes you find this body, but I'm just wondering what else there might be. Yep, nothing. Alright. I wonder if there's ever anything there. I've never found anything. On Interloper, at least, but maybe sometimes there's stuff there. I'm not going to loot the dam, I'm just going to go straight through. So anyway, the ravine lets you out into Coastal Highway and also into Bleak Inlet, the upper levels of Bleak Inlet. So there are two levels of Bleak Inlet. The level we went to was the lower level, and the only way to get to the upper level, as far as I know, is to go through the ravine and climb a rope down, or you can go down in some very specific spots, but you have to be careful because there are death walls in the ravine. If you try to go down to Bleak Inlet, there are some planes that will instantly kill you. So you have to be careful if you try to do that. But there is a way to do it, but I would not advise it unless you absolutely have to. You're feeling brave. But that'll get you to the upper level. And there's some cool stuff in the upper level, including a really neat lookout tower. I'd like to make a base there, honestly. It's very cool. And from the lookout tower, you'll always find a rope nearby or inside. And then you can put a rope on a nearby rock, and that will connect the upper and lower levels of Bleak Inlet. So typically, if I ever go to Bleak Inlet on my runs, I don't often go there until late game. But if I go there, I typically will go through the ravine. That way I can hit the upper levels first, and then go and check out the rest of it. Otherwise, you're just going to have to come back if you want to go to those upper levels. There's a cave up there. The ravine, I mean, not the ravine, this region. I actually forget what it's called. Winding River. Winding River. Winding River is not very dangerous, but it can be quite cold. Of course, it can have bad weather. And it's a little bit of a trek if the weather is bad. So that cave can be a lifesaver. For anyone who doesn't know, those cairns are placed there to represent contributors to the Long Dark in its early days. and some of them have messages written by those contributors, but many of them, probably most of them, say its story is not yet written, and that basically means that the contributor, the backer, just never got back to Hinterland with a message to put on the stone. So those will probably always say that. I know some people think, you know, it's been long enough, let's make those say something. But other people think, well, no, those contributors still paid, right? They still supported it, and even if the story is not yet written, its story is not yet written. It's still theirs. You know, it's not ours to take that. It's not Hinterland's even to take that. I don't know where I stand on that question about whether or not those should be written by somebody else, by us. Its story is not yet written. But I guess I understand both perspectives on it. It would be cool if they said something. I love you 10 times. Evangeline's Cairn. Well, that's sweet. I like that. That was a pleasant surprise. So it would be cool if it said something. I mean, that was pretty cool. I enjoyed that. But at the same time, you know, people paid money to support this, and those belong to them. Even if we wish they had something else. There's a lot of Cairns in this cave. I never really noticed. Grief Point. Grief Point's Cairn. I guess this is Grief Point. Maybe that's Grief Point over there. I don't know. Kapland. Okay. Kapland it is. Its story is not yet written. Okay, back to basics. That's the bread and butter. Okay, so now we're at Pleasant Valley. And the tower we need to repair is close by. So I think if I repair it tonight, it'll trigger an Aurora, but that won't give me much time to actually find the bunker. So I'm not going to do that. I'm going to sleep, repair it tomorrow, and then look for the bunker the next day. There's a hunter's blind here. The transition cave that I just came from is right over there. What do we got? Alright, bunch of stuff. I don't really want any of it. I'll take that. Why not? What are you, maple? Hurts to not take this maple. But I'm moving. There's a cave here. I think I might actually sleep here. Just so that I can map this area in the morning. Oh, there's a bed here too, that's nice. Alright. So the tower's right up there. Right in front of us. least I think it is. Yeah, that looks right. See this path between these rocks? And there it is over there. You can follow this path up there. You can go along the side, it can be a little bit shorter, but there can be some pretty steep hills. Do I have everything I need? Hopefully there's a battery up there. I think I need more wires than that, but there's probably wires, and I have plenty of replacement fuses. So there's usually parts near the towers. Not always, as you saw in Mountain Town, there wasn't a battery. But there's usually a battery, and there's almost always some fuses, some scrap metal, and some wires. Not always enough. There's usually some. I wonder if the sun being that big, you know, if that means anything, or if it's just an artistic choice. Might just be an artistic choice. So you get in here from the side over here. Now there might be a rope. If there is, maybe I'll apply it. But I just want to show you while the sun is out. That is the farmhouse. I forget what it's called. I think it's just Pleasant Valley Farmhouse. I guess this used to be an orchard. That's a little barn. There can be some cool stuff over there. Over there, I believe, is a bigger barn and some outbuildings. You can find stuff in all of these places. And over there somewhere is the plane crash. Good region. Actually, do I have any? Nope, I'm out of charcoal. This is also a Polaroid spot, but I of course don't have the Polaroid. Okay, let's see. Pry bar, don't need it, I already have one. Sometimes there can be stuff by that barrel. But most of the stuff you're going to find pertaining to that transmitter is going to be over here. There's the battery. Oh, insulated boots, that's nice. Wires, another flare. Oh, and there's a flare gun, right? Nice, okay. This is actually, even on Interloper, it's a very good loot location. You can find a lot of good stuff here. I'm still looking for some wires. I think you need either 4 or 5. Oh, I do want that Go Juice. Go energy drink. I call it Go Juice. I don't know why. Don't want it. Nope. So even on Interloper, you can find some good stuff here. You can usually find at least some coffee, usually in this room. Sometimes in the microwave, you can find 1 coffee. So many replacement fuses. Wool socks. Oh, okay. All right. Well, you know what? I need to kill time anyway, while I wait for night for the Aurora, so maybe I'll repair some stuff. Alright, that's probably everything I need. I'll pick these back up in case I need to, rip them up. As a matter of fact, I'll do that right now. Well, I'm not going to need the leather. Let's get rid of that. How much cloth do I have? Just 2? Alright, I will take these apart. And these. And the rest I meant to grab that battery. The rest I'll do once I'm actually repairing things. So here we are at the Pleasant Valley Tower. And we're going to repair it. First, let's get this battery out of our inventory. It's so heavy. I think it's 15 kilograms, something like that. Something like 33 pounds. I don't know. I'm American. I'm doing my best. I know that a pound is 2.2 kilograms. Or rather, a kilogram is 2.2 pounds. All right. So now I'm going to wait until nightfall. That Mariner's Pea coat is a very good coat. But if it's heavy, I probably don't really need it. It's very heavy. I'm just going to keep what I have, frankly. I'm already warm enough. But I will do some repairing. Probably should have slept a bit more than that, but that's okay. I don't think this will be difficult to find. Alright, looks like it's that way. I've gotten very hurt goating down from here before, but I'm gonna do it again. Oh, that's easy. I can just go right here. I've never gone this way. I always try to goat down this cliff right there. Ooh, jeez. Alright, let me... How many ankles did I break? Alright. Just one. I want to be able to sprint. It's pretty easy to find these things, I think. I mean, I don't know where the bunker is, but this points you right to it. You just make sure the needle's all the way right, and you walk. I really like that cloud effect. You know, those deep blues over the mountain with the aurora behind them. Looks really cool. You know, I was mentioning that the sun is really large. The moon is too. But they look like they're about the same size, which is cool because that means that you can get solar eclipses. It's very strange. Basically, luck. That the sun and the Aurora Bear's afraid of me. That the sun and the moon are different, are roughly the same size in the sky, right, visually. Because of the, you know, obviously the moon is much smaller than the sun, but because it's much closer, they look about the same size. Okay, so how do I get up here? And if that wasn't the case, we couldn't have solar eclipses. You know, the fact that we can have a solar eclipse is, it's pretty rare, actually, for a planet to be able to have those. I bet it's right on top of this hill. There it is, you can see it off in the distance. I need to put the voice up so that we can hear the cutscene. So here we are at Bunker Beta, Pleasant Valley. Like the other bunkers, it is a restricted area. Let's see what we can find. I think I want this jerry can. More insulated boots.
This'll come in handy.
When Signal Void was originally added to the game, some wool socks here, it wasn't added to Interloper. And the rationale was that there was just so much loot that it wouldn't be appropriate for Interloper. But then the community, you know, was frustrated that they didn't have these tails, you know, justifiably. And they said, hey, we don't care if there's any loot. It doesn't matter to us. We just want to be able to do the story. Hammer. And so they listened, and they added Signal Void to Interloper. Okay.
Something's gotta go. Session 12, Project Medical Officer interviewing Patient 7. Back to the third instance. Find the bridge between them.
Trying to. Okay. It starts the same as every other time. A dark room. Square. I feel the wall behind me, and I can barely make out the walls to the right and left. Smooth, like steel or glass. I can't see the wall opposite me. It's too dim. I walk forward, and that's when I notice it. Every time. The pit. Just a hole in the floor. Really, it's funny. The floor seems to slope a little bit as it reaches the edge. But the floor is made of bricks. Bricks that start to bend. Best I can tell.
And the end? The last image you can remember?
That's when it shows up.
What shows up? Can you describe it?
From across the pit, where the other wall should be, something darker than everything around it, sort of floating. It moves to the edge of the hole. No face, just a moving shape. A shadow. Is it me? My face? God damn it. Man, that's when I wake up. Every damn time.
So that one's pretty different than the other two. The other two were about a beach and water. There's still the notion of sinking, I suppose. But here, there's a kind of spatial distortion. A hole. It sounds like it's probably not. Well, if it is a memory, then something really peculiar is happening. Because those bricks are bending, right? There's something strange happening there. And so either this person is remembering some kind of distorted perceptual experience that he had, or the spatial distortions are real, and the creature is real. He said the creature had no face, but then he said, "Is it my face?" So that's strange. The creature sounds a little bit like the Dark Walker, which is one of the challenges for the game. So it could be the Dark Walker. We don't really know what that is, but he described it as a shadow, darker than everything around it. Just a moving shape. The Dark Walker is invisible in the challenge. You can just see its footsteps. So maybe that's not the Dark Walker, I don't know. Maybe we'll have some more answers in the next couple of tales. I've avoided spoilers for those. I'm not sure if I've stated this before. I am going at these pretty much fresh. I don't know almost anything about the tales. So maybe it was a dream. Maybe it was a distorted perceptual experience. Maybe it was an experience of real spatial distortion in a real creature, like the Dark Walker. Either way, a bit different than the other ones. Quite interesting, in my opinion. Alright, and now we need to find the security officer's log. Here it is. Security chief's log.
We ran power to Rudiger's machine for the first time yesterday. It was nothing like what they predicted, even at half energy. I still have no idea what the endgame for all of this will be. The whole project. And I'm seeing now that few of the men building it do either. It's all over their faces. All this time underground isn't helping their morale, but I'm confident our fragile truce will hold until we're finished. We worked hard to make it this far after what happened to Team 3. But afterwards? Impossible to say.
After what happened to Team 3? What happened to Team 3? You can't just say, after what happened to Team 3, and then not tell me what happened to Team 3. There is a fragile truce. I wonder if that's between the people building the machine and Rudiger, the person who is directing or coordinating the effort, I guess. There's a mysterious machine. Maybe the mysterious machine is causing these distorted perceptions, or, you know, perhaps some kind of psychosis in the workers. Or maybe Rudiger's machine is causing real spatial distortions. Maybe it's part of the geomagnetic event that caused Great Bear and perhaps the rest of the world to be in the state that it's in. All we know is that there's a medical officer taking interviews from people who are working here on a mysterious machine at Rudiger's behest, that morale is relatively low, and something seems to be happening to them or to their environment, and something happened to Team 3. So we'll leave it there. Next time, I will go back to the Forsaken Airfield and find the last bunker and complete Signal Void. We're at 83%, so this should last one more episode. If you liked that content, please leave a like. If you have any feedback or comments, or just want to connect, leave a comment. A lot of you have been leaving very kind comments and very useful comments, and I really appreciate both of those. They help the algorithm, but they help me to connect with you. And that's what's most important to me for this channel. So please leave a comment if you feel like it. If you want to see the next episode, or my other content, then consider subscribing so that you don't miss out. Thanks for watching, and until next time, strive to survive.